Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host,
Brian Sudfield.
That's fucking right. Hey, listen, guys, if you're new to the show, what we do is we take the movies coming out on the weekend, and we will pick an actor, director, genre, what have you, and we'll make a top 5 list according to that to honor said movie. And the cool thing about the show is that it's live, so we have no idea what the hell we're going to say, and then we also don't know each other's lists, so it makes it just a lot of fun. And if you're new, welcome, and if you are a returning listener, welcome as well. Welcome back. All right, so Brian, before we get into our topic, how are you doing today?
It's Friday. I'm excited. How are you doing?
It is fucking Friday. You know what's really weird? Like, me and my coworkers went to lunch, and it was like super bright, super humid, and it felt like I walked into the back anus door of Florida. So like that was the temp. So I go into my office for like a few hours. I come outside, and it's like apocalyptic, and like it's just gray and black everywhere. I'm like, Texas has got the most bipolar weather ever. Like, if anyone debates that, then you were wrong and you haven't lived here. It just automatically just switches. Like tomorrow we'll have a typhoon, and then the day after that we'll have a blizzard. So yeah, it is Friday, which is weird because this is called Top 5 Saturdays Live. Guys, sometimes we just have to. We record on different days. We got stuff going on. Brian's going to be a graduating senior here in a little bit. He's busy, and you know what? I'm 26. I got stuff to do, I guess. So yeah, it's always fun to do this show, especially this week. And Brian will introduce this week's topic.
We are talking about our favorite romantic comedies in honor of a shitty movie that's out this week called Mother's Day.
Whoa! Now, Brian,
yes.
Why is this movie shitty?
I haven't seen it, but
okay.
It looks shitty.
No, it does. It looks pretty bad. Listen, it's from Gary Marshall, and he's done the New Year's Eve and the Valentine's Day. He might as well just do every fucking year or every holiday. I can't wait until next year when he does Arbor Day, and he has this like weird love triangle between Julia Roberts, probably Jennifer Aniston again, and I don't know, like
Bradley Cooper. I don't know.
No, Bradley Cooper is too good for it. It'll be some random actor that was like in a movie that you saw last year that was in the background, like an extra. It'll be an extra. So, no, listen, I'm so sick and tired of these movies. I haven't seen any of them, so I can't really judge too harshly. However, when you watch the trailers, it is like every cliche from the 90s thrown at your face, and it's like, I cannot believe people enjoy this shit. Now, Brian and I love our mothers, and we're not saying that Mother's Day is a bad holiday. I'm just saying that the movie based on it looks shitty. It looks bad. I don't want to touch it. However, this is a movie to where like women will go, hey, let's go see that and get drunk with mimosas. I mean, it is that type of movie, and it's not for me and Brian. So I totally get that. It's got an audience. We're just not the audience. So, but yeah, we're going to honor romantic comedies. This is going to be a fun one because, as you guys all know, and Brian knows, and I'll say it again, I say it again every single time and every chance I get to bring it up. I am a sap, and I like me some romantic movies, but it's always nice to have some levity and have some comedy thrown in there to make it not look like you're depressed all the time. I'm not depressed. Just calm down, folks. Calm the fuck down. So we're going to do romantic comedies, and I'm excited because, believe it or not, my number one has held its position ever since I saw it, and I was just kind of blown away about how it all came together as like the perfect romantic comedy for me, and about like romance of today's cultures and stuff. So I can't wait. And speaking of today's culture, I realize that romantic comedies have been in the film industry for decades. But what's interesting about this genre is that it hasn't really had like this resurgence until like the late 80s, then like the 90s and the 2000s and stuff. Now, like I said, granted, there are romantic comedies that were made way back in the day, and I totally get that. Like honorable mention, and well, actually, no, never mind. Sorry, I jumped ahead of myself. I haven't seen many older romantic comedies to where I would feel comfortable. I grew up in the 90s. I have a lot of nostalgic 90s ones and 2000s ones that just kind of really resonate with me at the time, because you guys have to keep in mind, when you see like a romance movie or a romantic comedy, you might be going through a breakup, or you might go see it with your significant other, and it evoke a different response out of you than most people. There's gonna be choices on this list where you're gonna fucking roll your eyes at, and so it's okay. But just they all hit me in a certain way and stuff, and that's how I judge romantic comedies. I like them. There's some that are very cheesy that I really enjoy. But Brian, when you think of romantic comedies, what do you think of? Like, do you like the genre overall, or what's the deal? Let me pick that little brain.
Well, I'm not the hugest romance fan. It's not that I dislike them. It's just I don't like where they've gone recently. The Nicholas Sparks ones have just ruined the entire genre. In my eyes, it has. I mean, like, yeah, there are a few romance films that have come out within this decade so far that are really good, like Don John, The Fault in Our Stars. Me Before You looks pretty damn good with Emilia Clarke and Sam Finnick from Hunger Games. That film looks pretty damn good in my opinion. And romantic comedies can be very hit or miss. They can be. It has to be good on the romance aspect and, of course, the comedy aspect. But there are a lot that are actually really, really superb. And I'm really excited to talk about this because the thing is, for me, I prefer romantic dramas. But if you ask me about which do I prefer now, I would say comedies because the romantic comedies aren't as bad as the current romantic dramas because, like I said, a lot of them are just the Nicholas Sparks movies or the Nicholas Sparks related films. So, I mean, yeah, like, but I'm excited to talk about romantic comedies because I enjoy myself a good romantic comedy. I'm not the biggest romance guy, but still, I enjoy myself a good romantic comedy from time to time.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to talk about it. And the way I go about it is I'm looking at my list right now. I like to play in realism when it goes to romance movies in general. And so these movies to me, like these five, to me, they feel the most realistic out of anyone's I've ever seen, and whatnot. So, we'll break them down when we get into it. But with that being said, guys, let's do it. Top 5 Saturdays Live romantic comedies. Let's start with number 5. Brian, let me ask you the covenant question to kick this thing off. What is your number 5 favorite romantic comedy of all time?
My number 5 is Silver Linings Playbook. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. While this may have some dramatic elements to it, it is considered a romantic comedy according to all the sites I looked on. I always make sure whenever I make my list that these films are specified to whatever genre they're a part of. Now, I personally really love this film. This was I think it was tied with my favorite film in 2012 with The Dark Knight Rises. Yes, I love The Dark Knight Rises. I know it has its problems, but anyways, Silver Linings Playbook. You got Bradley Cooper, a very bipolar person, and you have Jennifer Lawrence, a mentally messed up person. They come together, they bond, and you see that they are perfect for each other because they both are fucked up in every way, shape, or form. But it's a very genuine romance. It is very real because I've known some people who are bipolar and stuff. I never met anyone who lost their spouse or significant other or anything. Well, I'm 18, so I mean, yeah, whatever. But it is a genuinely well done romance, and the movie is very funny. David Russell is the Kane. I still think that he's gonna make another great movie in the future. I love The Fighter. I love this film. I liked American Hustle, and I thought Joy was all right. I can't wait to see what else he does next, but don't cast these same people. But anyways, this romance is fantastic. It's very well done. It is relatable. There are some moments that make me cry, particularly what happens with Bradley Cooper's character, just finding out that his wife cheated on him, which is upsetting. And Jennifer Lawrence, she loses her husband, and it's really heartbreaking, but it's also very entertaining. Silver Linings Playbook, a fantastic film in my eyes. It was, in my opinion, the best film in 2012, tied with The Dark Knight Rises. So, yeah, that's my number 5.
Well, and the thing is with that movie is it's really good, and it's tricky. When you're dealing with, like, mental health and stuff, it can come across as, mean or mean-spirited, and it was a good balance, and it was written well. The characters were well developed, and they got a lot of depth to them, and the comedy and the drama balancing out in the Silver Linings Playbook, it works out to its benefit because, like I said, mental health is not something people really like. I mean, case in point, the Ronald Reagan movie was supposed to star Will Ferrell. 24 hours later, he's zipping out because, they're making fun of dementia and stuff. And it's a tricky subject and stuff, but Silver Linings Playbook is a very good one. Did not make my list, though. All right, so my number 5. I saw it last year for the very first time, and I can see why people claim this might be the best romantic comedy of all time. Why did I put it at number 5 is because I've only seen it once, and I'm not going to lie. I mean, I do want to see it again. That's the other thing I want to count on my list is rewatchability. The other 4 I've seen numerous times. But number 5, I'm going to go with Annie Hall. Now, I'm a pretty big Woody Allen fan. He's kind of a hit or miss for me, but the past 5 years, I've actually been seeing them in theaters. I think Midnight in Paris was my first Woody Allen film in theaters, which was really special because I really liked that movie quite a bit. I saw Blue Jasmine in theaters. I really love that one. That's about it. Everything else just kind of either looks so-so to me or whatever. But I do like Woody Allen's take on romance films and stuff. They feel fresh and they feel kind of classic and antique-ish almost, kind of like with Annie Hall because it's made in the 70s. But some of the issues are so relevant now. It's actually quite amazing that through that span of time, those relevant issues could still be in the forefront and whatnot. And I just love the style of it. Woody Allen breaks the fourth wall. It's really funny. Like, listen, there was a couple lines that had me dying laughing. Woody Allen, you could just tell that he just improvised and came up with the top of his head. Diane Keaton's really good in it. I really like the romance. It felt natural and just very genuine and stuff. And it's just a really good romance movie with a heavy dose of comedy with that little sprinkle of drama, and it makes for a pretty good watch. I need to watch it again, like I said, but I was blown away by the first time I saw it to where I had to put it on this list. I had to kick out a couple of them. So, yeah, Annie Hall is my number 5. I know for a fact that Brian did not put this on this list. So, Brian, did you like Annie Hall?
I like it quite a bit, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in years. So, yeah, can't really talk about it. I haven't seen it forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a classic. It really is. Like, when I got done watching, I was like, man, that felt like a classic. That just felt like a movie that you would show to people generations from now, and that's just a great feeling. So
I agree.
All right. So let's jump to number 4. Brian,
My number 4 is My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Now,
my goodness.
I love this fucking film. Don't diss it. That's not fair. You shouldn't diss it.
Guys, I'm kidding. Brian, just convince me. Convince me, seriously, because I haven't seen it. Convince me on why it's one of the best.
I think it's because it's something so, like, see, as you can tell, I'm not Greek. I'm Irish, so I mean, I don't know what goes on in the Greek world. To be quite honest, I wasn't really well-rounded with the Greek world until I saw this film. I saw this film for the first time late last year, but I was watching it in preparation for the sequel. And by the way, the sequel is just it's whatever. It's not terrible like people said it was. Anyway, I think what makes this film so funny is that it's just the whole insanity of the Greek family. Like this girl Tua, played by Nia Farlos, who also wrote the film. It's based on her one-woman play, which I didn't know until like a few months ago when the sequel came out. And like she doesn't want to live the ordinary Greek life. Like she has to marry a Greek boy and have a lot of Greek babies, according to her father, who was the standout of the film, one of the standouts. And then she meets this American guy, and they bond, they get married, and it's just a really entertaining dysfunctional family comedy. And dysfunctional family movies are generally like hit or miss, but when they hit, they are hits. Like they are amazing. And this one works very well because, the movie is charming, it's funny, it's very fast-paced. It only clocks in at like 85 minutes, so it's one of the fast-paced comedies I've ever seen in my life. And it's just a really charming film. It's rated PG, which I didn't know why it would be, but it's very simple. There's nothing harmless to it. It's a nice film. It should be checked out at least once in your life. If you like romantic films and romantic comedies in general, this is a film that you should check out. It was nominated for the Best Original Screenplay Oscar. It was a very good film. It spawned the Shady TV show, which I haven't seen, but I watched the clip of it on YouTube and I'm like, nah. And then they made the sequel, which, like I said, I thought wasn't too bad. It was just, meh. It was average. It was better than Zoolander 2, so that's good. So yeah, My Big Fat Greek Wedding is my number 4.
Little fun fact: My Big Fat Greek Wedding is one of the highest-grossing movies ever for an independent film. Because I think the movie cost like $5 million or something like that, and it grossed like 400 worldwide. It was. I remember when it came out, it was a phenomenon, man. People were going week after week to see that shit, and it's like, I guess it's one of those lightning in the bottle scenarios. You're like, I don't know what the fuck happened, but something happened and people liked it. So. I kid, Brian. I kid. Not really. I don't. I don't really want to see it. It just never appealed to me. But I can see why people can like, because like you said, it seems like a simple, sweet, charming story. There's nothing wrong with that. So it doesn't really appeal to me. But when I say my number 4, people are going to fucking roll their eyes. They're going to dig their own graves. They're going to flop their bodies in there and cover the dirt over them because they're going to realize that I put this over Annie Hall. My number 4. A little funny story about this movie. I saw it in theaters, and I was sitting there. I was ready for it because I knew the filmmakers and stuff involved from previous films, and I was ready to watch it. And my band directors from school in high school, they come in, they sit down like in the corner of the theater. I'm not making this up. They sit there. Within the first 5 minutes, Jason Segel's dick pops up, and my band directors walk out of the theater. And then this is a true story. And I went up to them the next day, and I was like, guys, I was in the theater with you. And they're just like, oh. I was like, did you guys like it? And they're just like, yeah. They were so uncomfortable from seeing Jason Segel's dick and forgetting Sarah Marshall that they just fucking trolled on out of there, and it was the funniest thing ever. But no, Forgetting Sarah Marshall is a great romantic comedy. I like the fact that it just kind of it's really accurate in terms of like, you know, not being over someone and you have to go take a vacation somewhere to kind of forget them, and then you meet someone. Well, that doesn't really happen, not for me, but usually when I get over a relationship, I'll just sit in my room and like watch a bunch of Netflix shows. But I really like the way it was just written. It was just so funny. Like, this is one of the funniest romantic comedies you will ever see in your life. I'm not even joking. Jason Segel wrote it. He's in it. There's a lot of charm to it. There's a lot of swag to it. Russell Brand was the first introduction to him to all of us. He was very douchebaggish in the movie, but that was his character. Kristen Bell was great. Mila Kunis was great. It's a simple romantic comedy about a guy getting away to forget Sarah Marshall, his ex-girlfriend, and then he ends up hanging out with Mila Kunis and stuff, and you can see where it goes and stuff. And yes, are there some tropes in there and cliches of romantic comedy? Sure. But you cannot deny the fact that this is one of the funniest movies ever. It just is. Like, I remember that theater experience like no other. Like, I usually remember the funniest movie experience like The Hangover or Borat and Forgetting Sarah Marshall. People just lost their minds during the whole fucking movie. I think it's really funny. It makes me cry laughing every single time. It's something that we can all kind of relate to, and it kind of puts it in a fun type of manner and whatnot, and kind of makes fun of it. So I really like Forgetting Sarah Marshall quite a bit. And like I said, I can rewatch it over and over again. And it still haunts me to this day when I was first sitting in that theater and Jason Segel just drops that towel, and it first it doesn't show it. It shows his backside. I was like, okay, they're doing a little hide up. And then it does the cut to the front of him, and like everyone was like, what? Why are we seeing his dick right now? And I after that movie, I could not look at How I Met Your Mother the same ever again. And I love that show because I always just imagine like, Jason Segel, just keep it in your pants on the show, please. Don't do a sneak attack and whip it out. So yeah, I really like it quite a lot. And yeah, it was actually my introduction to Kristen Bell too. So Kristen Bell, Russell Brand, I think Jack McBrair's in it. Like, yeah, there was a bunch of people that just kind of introduced me to, and it was part of that Judd Apatow type of world. It was during the craze of the Judd Apatow movies and stuff. But yeah, I like me some Forgetting Sarah Marshall quite a bit. So Brian, what do you think of this movie? Because I know for a fact it's not on your list.
When life gives you lemons, just say fuck the lemons and bail.
The Paul Rudd's one of his best lines in his career is that line that Brian just said. It's great. He's on the surfboard with Jason Segel, and he's kind of like the hippie character. He's like, when life gives you lemons, man, don't fucking bail. It's great.
No, the film is pretty damn dope, and I haven't seen it forever either. Yeah, it's pretty entertaining. Yeah, Jason Segel did co-write with
No, he wrote it. He just wrote it.
Oh, I thought he co-wrote with what the hell is his name? Nicholas Stoller. He directed this, right?
Yeah, he directed it, but Jason Segel clearly wrote it. And that's what kind of makes me mad about Jason Segel. It's like, brother, look at me. You wrote Forgetting Sarah Marshall, a great romantic comedy. You wrote the first Muppets movie, which is without a doubt one of the freshest like kids movies I've seen in like 10 years. It was adorable, it was fun, it was entertaining, and you wrote that. You haven't really written anything since then. And it's like, dude, I like your writing. Like, you're really funny. Please write some more shit. So that's my little rant. Jason Segel, if you're listening, I love you, man. Which he was also in with Paul Rudd. There you go. See how it tied in there? Which is actually a really good romantic comedy, by the way, but it's not on my list. But no, I really like his just kind of original take on things. And he's just, like I said, a really good comedic writer, and he just needs to write more. I don't care if it's with Judd Apatow or by himself, but he needs to write something else. So, let's jump into number 3.
My number 3 is Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah. Okay. So, I did not put it on my list.
Damn.
But I echo Brian's sentiments. I'll let him talk first, and I'll add my 2 cents. But good choice.
I truly have a huge crush on this film. This film is incredibly entertaining, heartfelt, kind of upsetting, but it's so fucking good. This was one of the most underrated films of 2011, in my opinion. I think this and 50-50 were the 2 best comedies of 2011. Steve Carell and Ryan Gosling are the most unlikable duo like ever. You never expected those 2 to work together, and they work together so perfectly. Steve Carell, Cal Weaver, the biggest idiot ever. His wife, Julianne Moore, cheats on him with her boss, played by Kevin fucking Bacon. And hey, listen, if I was Julianne Moore, I would also want to sleep with Kevin Bacon because, I mean, he's the bacon, so why not? And then he meets Ryan Gosling in a bar, and then he helps him out, and then Steve Carell becomes a stud. It's, like, incredible.
And Brian, just real quick, don't spoil anything because it's got one of the best kind of twists in a romantic comedy.
Oh, yes.
Don't spoil it.
Yes. I agree 100%. I remember when I saw the film in the theater, and the twist was just incredible. The reaction on one of the characters' face just, like, stood still, and it showed that particular actor was good at comedy. And also, this was the film this is, in my opinion, Ryan Gosling's funniest role to date. Now, that could change when The Nice Guys comes out in a few weeks. So, because obviously in The Nice Guys, he's playing kind of a wimpy version of his character from Drive. And in this, he's kind of playing like the tough stud, like, oh yeah, I'm rich, I'm good looking, and yeah, everyone wants me. So, like, yeah, it's really heartfelt, and it's really relatable because, like, when you go through a divorce, you don't know what to do. Like, should you, like, just, like, relax and be, like, single, or should you go out and date someone? And honestly, like, at first, he's like, oh, I don't know what to do. Halfway through the movie, he's like, oh, I'm perfect now. I'm totally fine. But then once the movie starts to end, he's like, I don't know what to do anymore. So it's like a really compelling story. It's very entertaining. I love Crazy Stupid Love, pun intended. But seriously, guys, this film, I don't think a lot of people have seen, but because of the excellent performances, the writing, and the relatable story, it's such a good film to watch. Like, I'm telling you guys right now that this is a damn good film to watch. And I also want to give a shout out to the kid that plays Steve Carell and Julianne Moore's son, because he was the kid from Sathora, which is a pretty damn underrated film from Jon Favreau. And he did very good too. I was able to relate to him. Now, my parents are not divorced, so I can't really talk about that aspect. But still, like, I mean, I've been through what that kid went through, finding your first crush saying, oh, I love you and stuff. Like, I've been through that shit. I'm not going to, like, hide that. But still, like, this is a very relatable film. It's so entertaining. It's so funny. And, yeah, just, guys, it's so quotable. It's so funny. I love Crazy Stupid Love so much.
I remember when that movie came out, it looked like a traditional cliched romantic comedy that you would see with Jennifer Aniston in 2005.
It did, but the reviews started coming out, and they were so positive. I was like, what are they fucking drinking? Like, there's no way this is good. I walked out of that movie so surprised, and I was like, holy shit, this movie's amazing. I rarely ever say this in romantic comedies, but it was well written. This movie, from the jokes
to the depth of the characters, to what Brian said, the story and how complex it is with Steve Carell's kind of conflictions, and that kind of like nice little softball twist at the end of it. It was just a sharply written script, and it's original. It really is. Like it might seem basic on the surface, but you dive deep into that, it's just it felt like just an original romantic comedy that you haven't really seen because of how it was told and stuff. So yeah, I totally agree. It didn't make my list, but you know, I like my three. I like my top three. So my number three. Okay, so the first time I saw this, I got really angry. The second time, I got really angry again. The third time, I got angry again. The fourth time, I showed it to one of my friends, and I got angry in front of her. No matter how many times I see this fucking movie, I always get angry, not going to ruin it for you, at a certain character in 500 Days of Summer. Listen, this is I would say it is a modern classic. It is. It's got a little bit of music in there. It's got a little bit of comedy. It's got some really good drama between Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel. But it's got one of the most realistic portrayals of a romance that I have seen on film. And what do I mean by that? It's kind of hard to talk about because it has to deal with the end. But the way it kind of ends, you're angry because of how long you've spent with these characters. But at the same time, you go, oh my God, I've experienced this shit. Like, it's aggravating. And you know what's really cool about this movie? I always tell people this. They're like, many women like this movie quite a bit. And I always tell them it's written by two guys. It's pretty amazing that these two guys wrote it. And this is not on my list, but they also wrote one of my other favorite romance movies, The Spectacular Now and The Fault in Our Stars. So they wrote some good fucking shit. But as far as 500 Days of Summer goes, there's so much charm oozing out of this movie. It is very palpable. You just want to grab it with your claws and just hug it because you're so damn adorable, movie. But then it does get into some like dramatic, realistic stuff, and it's really just kind of heartfelt and touching of someone going through this very strenuous relationship. 500 fucking days is pretty strenuous when you watch how the relationship progresses and stuff. It's aggravating because, like I said, I've been there, whatnot. But 500 Days of Summer, great movie. I could rewatch that over and over again. And that was kind of my reintroduction to Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Now, I've seen movies with him in the past, and I didn't even know it like as a kid, like Angels in the Outfield and stuff. But like 500 Days of Summer, when it came out, that was kind of like my reintroduction to him going, hey, he's here. He's in the industry type of deal. And then, of course, he killed it in 50-50, and Don John, I thought he did pretty good. So 500 Days of Summer, excellent romantic comedy that's pretty realistic at the end because sure most people have experienced that. So, Brian, would you talk about this or move on?
I'm going to pass on this one.
Oh, shit. Okay, so Brian's only got 2 slots left, and this is really fascinating because if he puts in number 2, what the hell is his number 1? Because I don't talk to Brian about this genre at all. But if it's his number 1, I'm not gonna hold it against him because it's a pretty damn good movie. So I'm really curious now to see where that's gonna fall. All right. So speaking of that, let's move on to number 2.
So my number 2 is 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached a conclusion to that mystery that was where is it at? Yeah, tell me why this movie's special to you.
It's special to me because I remember this is actually my sister's favorite film of all time. Like, she loves the crap out of this film. She loves the way it's made.
A lot of women love this fucking movie.
No, but it's not just that. Like, she loves the way it's done. She loves these two. She's big fans of JGL and Zooey Deschanel. And just like, I mean, yeah, like, I love, like, first of all, there were so many scenes involving parallel editing. As a filmmaker, that's really special to me, like saying what could happen and what does happen. Like, those particular stuff, I'm not going to spoil anything. Like Chase said, we don't want to spoil what happens because not many people have seen this movie, but then again, a lot of people have. But, like, it's so interesting the way the film is done. Like, the nonlinear storyline. Mark Webb directed this, and he's the one who directed the Amazing Spider-Man films. Say what you want about those films. The guy still is a very talented director. I won't say that the direction for those films are the reason why they ended up being what they were, but you gotta give him credit for this. He went on from doing a romance film to 2 big budget superhero films. That's like a big step. That's a big step. And he did a fantastic job with this. JGL was incredible here. I love Zoe Deschanel here. One of the characters, you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why did you do this to this person? Like, what the hell? And, yeah, it's funny. It's heartfelt. It's a great film. I thought this film should have been nominated for Best Picture because when this film came out, it had the 10 slots. This film should have easily been nominated. In my eyes, it should have been. But it's so funny. I mean, my favorite scene in the whole film, well, one of the parallel edited scenes, but also the scene that always makes me laugh is when he's dancing in the park and then you see everyone dancing, like the over choreographed sequence, and then like the anime bird comes onto his finger. It's hilarious. It's perfect. So yeah, 500 Days of Summer, one of the best indies of the last 10 years, one of the best romantic comedies ever, and easily one of the best romance films in the history of cinema, in my personal opinion.
Please tell me when you first saw it for the very first time that you got like super pissed at the end.
Oh, of course I did.
Oh yeah,
of course I did.
It's amazing. Like every time I watch it, you can see me. I actually like record myself like watching it because I'll ball up my fist and like I'll slam it on the couch or the chair. I'll be like, "Why are you doing you fucking fuck?" So it's one of those endings that it takes a different turn than a traditional ending for a romantic comedy. It's actually quite refreshing. So, yeah, that's a very good pick. Cannot argue against it. My number 2 is definitely unique and different. A lot of people wouldn't really consider a romantic comedy, just more of a romance. But I think it's got more of like kind of like a darkly comedic approach to it, which is something kind of new in the romantic comedy genre. So it's like it's a subgenre of a subgenre. So it's dark romantic comedy. But this director, he's more well known for his dramas and his kind of like epics and biopics and whatnot. And I always said that this director has made literally every single movie in every single genre. I can go down the list for you because now Brian's like in anticipation. He's wondering who it is. I'll go down the list right now. There Will Be Blood is his horror film. Inherent Vice is his psychedelic comedy. Magnolia is his epic drama. Boogie Nights is his sexy erotic bio movie. And the one I'm going with is Punch Drunk Love, his romance movie, and arguably a kind of like darkly comedic romance movie. This movie is spectacular. There's a lot of things in the movie that aren't fed to you on a spoon, and they're kind of like abstract, and they're kind of they kind of happen, and you kind of have to piece it together and be like, why did the director do that? But then when you kind of piece it together, like, wow, that was actually really smart on how to tell that. It's a really good, just kind of classic romance story of a guy falls for a girl and stuff, but it's got like this interesting twist with like a phone sex line and stuff. But it's that one movie, the one fucking movie I go, Adam Sandler has something in him. He just needs to fucking find it again. This is the best performance he has ever given. I loved his performances. He's very reserved. He's not loud like he is in his movies for the most part. He's very reserved, and his character says a lot because there's one scene at the very beginning. This isn't really spoiling anything, but he breaks a window with his foot. And it's like, wow, I thought this guy was like really calm and nice, but he's got like a rage streak going on. So there's a lot of complexity with his character, and he's just kind of like a guy going throughout life, following these clues of, life telling him, hey, there's this girl that rolled into your life, go get her type of deal. And it's just from the way it's shot, the cinematography is it's very classic romantic kind of glowy feel to it. And that's just something Paul Thomas Anderson does for his movies, depending on what the story is. Adam Sandler is great, and I think it's Emily Watson. Is it Emily? It's Emily Watson, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, she plays the lead female, and she's really great. I like their chemistry and stuff. And Louise Guzman is in this. But the acting all around is great. But Adam Sandler's character is great. He's just great to follow. And you're just like, come on, man, you can do this. Go after this chick. You got this. And the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman shows up as a pretty interesting role. But like I said, it's kind of got that darkly comedic twist because it looks like it's serious. It's not. It's very lighthearted and stuff. And the things that Adam Sandler's character kind of gets into is just really goofy for his character, and you can't help but laugh because that's his personality. And I just thought everyone was fleshed out. I love the chemistry between them. It just felt very organic and just kind of beautiful. And it's one of my favorite from Paul Thomas Anderson. It's actually one of his shortest. It's only 90 minutes. It flies by just like that because he's used to doing 2-hour films, 2.5 hours. And I'll watch Paul Thomas Anderson for 24 hours. I don't give a fuck. But I love Punch Drunk Love quite a bit. It's my second favorite romantic comedy. Well, romantic dark comedy of all time. So that is my pick. Brian, I know this is not on your list, so would you like to discuss?
Love it. Great film. Adam Sandler, snubbed of an Oscar nomination. You say that this is his best performance. I think it's competing with Reign Over Me, which is still, in my opinion, his best film. Yes, this may be the better made film, but Reign Over Me is entirely a drama. This is a comedy and a drama. But, I mean, yeah, this film definitely has great romance elements to it. It's funny. It's really sad at times. It's a great film. Definitely check it out, specifically for Adam Sandler. Like, the Adam Sandler fans out there, I know, listen, I'm always going to respect the man. I always will love the guy no matter what. But he really needs to fix his film career. There's that trailer for that movie he's doing with David Spade on Netflix. Looks gross. It doesn't look as bad. It doesn't look as bad as the ridiculous.
It doesn't. It actually looks passable. Like that's strange for me to say since I couldn't even get through 2 minutes of the Ridiculous 6. But the do-over or whatever, it looks passable. It looks like something you could actually play in the background versus the Ridiculous 6.
That's true. I'll give you that. But yeah, Punch Drunk Love, great film. Great film.
Well, this is fascinating, folks. Like this is really fascinating for everyone involved, and I'm just really curious, frankly, because Brian never talks about this genre. So, Brian, I gotta ask you, what is your favorite romantic comedy of all time? Now, think about it. This is the one that you're gonna put on that pedestal, and people are gonna judge you for. And this is the internet. People are right. Whatever they fucking say on the internet, they're correct and we're wrong. So, what is your number one?
All right, here we go. My number one is The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Interesting.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that was your number one.
Interesting. I'll explain why in just a second. So,
ooh, okay. Easily, Steve Carell's best film ever. This was his introduction to film. This film came out the same year that The Office premiered on television. So no one really knew Steve Carell before. Yes, he was in some small films. He was in Bruce Almighty. He was in Anchorman. But this film really introduced him to the whole film world. Like, this was like, hey, he could be great as a leading man. And then the same year The Office came out, people were like, hey, he could do good on TV too. So, yeah, okay. Everyone knows the story. It's in the title. He's a 40-year-old man who hasn't lost his virginity yet. I mean, it's that simple. It's common sense, people. Like, if you need an IMDb synopsis, you're fucking stupid. No offense, but seriously, you're fucking stupid. Anyways, I think this is one of the funniest films of this entire century so far. It's entertaining. It's clever. Everyone does a great job. Steve Carell is incredible. Seth Rogen was great. Paul Rudd was hilarious. The black guy, whose name I forgot, I'm sorry, he was funny. And Catherine Keener also did a good job too. This movie, and Chase always messes up. Jonah Hill, this was like an introduction to Jonah Hill in the fucking eBay store. So, I mean, yeah, it's great. But no, seriously, like, the romance element, it's actually very heartfelt. Like, people may look at this film as just a true raunchy comedy. And while it is a raunchy comedy for sure, there's a lot of heartfelt moments in here. And you feel for Steve Carell's character. You're like, oh, yeah, you're a big dork and you work at a Best Buy Circuit City ripoff. Do you guys remember Circuit City? Do you remember that fucking store? I do.
I do.
I do. I remember that store. And and he runs into Catherine Keener. They bond and stuff, and then they have a relationship. It's cute, and you don't know what's going to happen when the movie ends. So, I mean, it's a very, very funny movie. And it was Judd Apatow's directorial debut. And while I consider Knocked Up to be the best film he's ever done, I will not get mad. People say that this is the best film he's ever made. So, The 40-Year-Old Virgin is my personal favorite romantic comedy. I can understand where someone might be like, it's not really a romantic comedy. But to be quite honest, according to a lot of sources, it is one. So, yeah. 40-Year-Old Virgin, my number one. I honestly thought that Chase would put this at number one. I honestly thought that he would either put this at number one or 500 Days of Summer.
Okay.
I don't know what your number one is.
Okay. So let me ramp this up. First of all, 40-Year-Old Virgin, great movie. It's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. Came out in 2005, right?
Yes.
Okay, 2005. Now, I was 15 at the time, and I couldn't see R-rated movies, so I did not see it in theaters, and I didn't really see it until I was 17. But you know what movie did come out in 2007?
Oh, boy.
Oh, Brian knows where I'm going with this, and people are going to get so angry, but just hear me out. I was a junior in high school. I still remember this day. It was one of the best days I ever had in high school. It was one of the half days, and me and my friends, we went to school basically to sign in, and then we just left. So I remember we left. We went to go get some donuts. We went to my friend's house. And we kind of chilled. And this is when I worked at the theater, so I took all my friends to the theater. We went to go see a free movie during the day in May or June, I believe, and like there was no one in there. We were the only ones in there. But that was like one of my first kind of like R-rated movies in theaters and stuff because I was 17 at the time, and I was 17 for like 5 or 6 months. So it was one of the few first ones, and I just remember when I walked out of it, wow, this is the best portrayal of like a romance relationship. It was really funny. It was so grounded that to this day, for almost 10 years, I haven't found a single romantic comedy that's as realistic and as funny. I'm going the opposite of Brian. I'm doing Knocked Up, baby. That is my number one. Now, people are probably wondering, Chase, what are you smoking? First of all, I don't smoke because I would cough up like no other, and I work for the city. But what I can tell you is this. Knocked Up, people might look at it and go, oh, that's just a bunch of stupid stoner one-liners from Seth Rogen and stuff. True. And it's really funny and stuff. But there's also something there. There's something kind of genuine and realistic about what Seth Rogen goes through. The fact that he is basically a man-child at the beginning of the movie. And at the end of the movie, he's a responsible adult taking care of his shit because he had a one-night stand. He got someone pregnant. He goes back and forth throughout the movie, and then he just realizes, I need to grow the fuck up. And there's something kind of, like I said, grounded and realistic to that no other movie to this day I think has ever accomplished. Knocked Up and 40-Year-Old Virgin are two of the funniest movies ever made. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. But Knocked Up, it seems a little bit more kind of, I don't know, just more realistic to me than 40-Year-Old Virgin. I'm not saying 40-Year-Old Virgins are non-existent because I'm sure they're floating out there somewhere playing World of Warcraft in their mother's basement while eating some Cheetos and Hot Pockets and Mountain Dew, but that's besides the point. Knocked Up to me is a person having a one-night stand and, kind of dealing with the consequences and learning to grow up, and he kind of learns that by trying to be nice to Katherine Heigl, which, by the way, I'm going to say this right now, I have never really fucking liked her as an actress. Knocked Up is the only good thing she'll ever do because after that movie, she completely pissed everyone off, and that's why she's in shit now. Anyways, I love Seth Rogen's kind of growth. I love even his roommates have growth. They move on, they do their own things, and Katherine Heigl, she has to kind of like deal with it and stuff because she has the better paying job than Seth Rogen, and Seth Rogen tries to get a job and tries to better himself, and there's just something kind of endearing about that, and just it felt realistic. I'm telling you, you watch the movie, you're like, oh my God, just everything from like the actual pregnancy, which we did not see that coming when we watched it in theaters, by the way, because we actually saw the crowning shot, if you will. but then just like the kind of the natural flow of like him meeting Katherine Heigl at a club and they have sex and then they go their separate ways and she's pregnant and she contacts him and then, they try to, make it work and then it doesn't work. And, there might be cliches and stuff, but it's told very well. It's funny as all hell. That is one of the best improv movies I've ever seen. When you realize how much improv went through that movie, it's kind of astounding. Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, Jason Segel, Martin Starr, Jay Baruchel, they all have great one-liners, and even Kristen Wiig's in this. And there's just and this is the introduction to Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann's characters, who did the spinoff This Is 40, which I really like, by the way. A lot of people give that shit, but that's a really good one. Is it the best one? No, I think Knocked Up is the best thing. That Judd Apatow has done story-wise, but I think I agree with Brian. 40-Year-Old Virgin might be the funniest one he's ever done, but those two are neck and neck. Don't get me wrong. So, but just everything from the jokes to the characters, and it's rewatchable. You can I know it's really long, but I can rewatch that over and over again. I loved everyone's timing in the movie. Just everyone just felt like they fit together and stuff. I love Knocked Up. It's a great kind of grounded portrayal of a relationship that happened through an accidental pregnancy and stuff. So I really liked it quite a bit. Knocked Up, you're the fucking champion until something can knock it out. But I really love Judd Apatow a lot, and I'm one of his biggest fanboys. And I've really never had a problem with any of his movies. Some of the ones he's produced, sure, but the ones that he's touched in terms of directing with like 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, This Is 40, Trainwreck, Brian, what am I forgetting?
Funny People.
Funny People. I actually really like Funny People, by the way. Is it a little bit too long? Sure. I can't really disagree with you there, but I do like that quite a bit because that one's also kind of really darkly comedic and kind of depressing and stuff. But I've always really I like Judd Apatow's take on life. He basically takes a slice of life, he throws it on screen, and you get his movies. And I love the fact that he lets his actors and actresses do improv because it seems more realistic. If I'm hanging out with my friends, trust me, if I fucking record ourselves for 3 hours, you know how much random shit comes out of our mouths? None of us are funny, but like when you have all those funny people pitching out all these lines and stuff, and you can be like, oh yeah, those group of guys in that house, they would fucking talk like that. Because one of the guys is pinpointing all the nude scenes in movies, and they want to do like a Mr. Skin ripoff website. So it's stuff like that that's just like, you can see that happening type of deal. So I've talked about it long enough. Knocked Up, fantastic. I would actually say that for this week, me and Brian's number ones are probably the best romantic comedies of all time. Some of the best. Like, even though we have opposing ones, they're two of the best. So, yeah, that's my number one. So, before we get into our honorable mentions, here is our list, guys. All these are fantastic films. I haven't seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding, so I'll get on that if maybe. So, listen, I can't knock Brian for liking shit because, listen, I like romantic movies and I like to cry in my chairs. Yeah, so that's our list, guys. So let's ask you, what are some of your favorite romantic comedies? Comment in the place where my face and let me know. But what are some of the ones that just barely escape by? So, Brian, let's go to you first. What are some honorable mentions for you?
Pretty Woman, Annie Hall. I guess I'll put in Punch Drunk Love because you considered that one. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. The Wedding Singer is a pretty good one, too. About Time, which I think is very underrated with Domhnall Gleeson and Rachel McAdams. Very good film. And I'll mention Trainwreck as well because I really dug Trainwreck.
Yeah, Trainwreck's really good. And About Time, I actually agree with Brian. I saw it with a girl. I'm not going to say who because she's a terrible person. But I remember walking out there. I was like, holy shit, I actually really like that. Because she wanted to go see it or whatever. I went with her. And I was like, oh, God, it's going to be some weird chick flick. But it was actually a really kind of endearing movie about this guy falling in love with this girl and his relationship with his father. And there's a lot of good stuff about it that was a lot deeper than what you would see. But, yeah, it's really good. For me, I'm going to say something kind of weird. I really dug that movie, He's Just Not That Into You. I saw it when I was in college.
Oh, my sister loves that film. That one's okay. It's all right.
I like it. I don't know what it is about it, but there's something about it that just it fucking hooks me. Sue me. And then another one. I'm looking around my collection. Brian, would you consider Garden State a romantic comedy?
Garden State?
Yeah.
I love that fucking film. Well, that's my third favorite film ever made. I'm telling you that right now. Zach Braff is like my bro. He's like my bro. New Jersey filmmaker. He's my bro. A romantic comedy.
It's. I mean, there's a lot of dark elements to it in terms of the storyline, but
I mean, everything. No matter what, no matter what it is, the film is like a fucking cinematic masterpiece of its own. Like, it is, in my opinion, one of the best films ever made. I love that damn film. It's right there on Blu-ray, and it's in between the weirdest collection. It's in between The Fugitive and Gladiator, so it's a weird list. It's kind of weird, but no, Garden State. I mean, if that was a romantic comedy, like if that was a true, genuine romantic comedy, I would put that at number 1. So yeah, spoiler.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we'll say that's like kind of one. But yeah, you're right. It's not really a full one. I really like Chasing Amy a lot. I almost put that on my list. Actually, I love that movie. I put it on our Ben Affleck episode. I can relate to it because one of my first girlfriends was a bisexual, and then she turned lesbian.
Speaking of Kevin Smith, I'm seeing the guy on Sunday. Hopefully, I get to meet him. Another Jersey filmmaker. So yeah.
Brian,
Jersey filmmakers are on fire.
Brian, I'm gonna tell you this with much respect. Go fuck yourself. I would love to meet that guy.
I doubt I'll meet him, but if I do, it'll be cool.
It doesn't matter. You're gonna be in the same room as him. You know what's really funny? Another good romantic comedy from his catalog. I really like Zack and Mary Make a Porno.
That's a good one too.
A lot of people look at that. I remember specifically. I saw that in theaters. I paid currency for it. And the box office person looked at me weird, and I was like, "There's going to be more to this than just them making a porno." And like everyone rolls their eyes when they mention that movie. And I believe my copy of the movie, they actually couldn't make a porno on the DVD cover, so it's just Zack and Miri. Because I guess the Weinstein Company thought they would sell better if they were without make a porno on the title. I get that, but call it by its full name. That's a really endearing movie. And I kind of cried a little bit at the very end with Seth Rogen and Elizabeth Banks. But as far as another one, I think that's about it. I really don't have any more at the top of my head. But guys, romantic comedies, they're kind of just a dime a dozen because there's a lot of them that are made. But when you find a good one, it sticks with you for quite some time. And that's what kind of our list consists of, is like, these are just movies that spoke to us differently. And I know a lot of people are really, why did you put Forgetting Sarah Marshall above Annie Hall? I only saw Annie Hall once. I've seen all the others many, many times, and they just stick with me. And they're all really well written and just, like I said, just a really kind of fresh take on the genre and whatnot. So, yeah, romantic comedies, they're a dime a dozen. But when you find one, hold on to it because they're going to be awesome. So, Brian, what are some of the ones that just you hope just go away? I'm going to start. Pretty much anything with Jennifer Aniston. I do like Along Came Polly a little bit because Philip Seymour Hoffman makes that movie. But
he does.
But as far as like everything else she's touched, no. Who's another? Katherine Heigl after Knocked Up. No, actually, The Ugly Truth wasn't bad, but everything else was garbage.
It was
yeah, pretty much every generic romantic comedy that you could ever fucking think of. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I only have one dishonorable mention because that's the only one I could think of. Because I was watching the Butterfly Effect the other night, which, by the way, I like that film very much. I like that film very much. And, Ashton Kutcher and Katherine Heigl did Killers together. That was kind of a disappointing film. I was kind of let down by it. I thought it could have been something that was something serviceable, but instead it was just bleh. But my worst is Valentine's Day. I personally think this is a listen, I'll say this right now. This film isn't like 100% bad. It's just that when you have an ensemble, like an ensemble romance film that works very, very well is Love Actually. That ensemble film works so well because every character has like their own screen time. It's well written. It's from the same guy who made About Time. It's it's very well done. This one is just so all over the place. It's kind of stupid. You have Taylor Swift and Taylor Lautner at one point. I remember when the movie came out, I was in 6th grade, and everyone in my middle school was like, oh my God, Taylor Lautner and Taylor Swift are a couple. Do you know what their names would be if they were both married? They would both be Taylor Lautner. Who gives a shit? Like, calm down. Like, calm your tits. Anyways, yeah, Valentine's Day, not a good film. And I will say this about New Year's Eve. I don't hate that film. I think that film kind of gets a bad rep. People say it's worse than Valentine's Day. I disagree. I think Valentine's Day is worse than New Year's Eve. I think New Year's Eve has a little higher. Maybe I like it a little more because it has my boy Bon Jovi in it. I don't know. It's whatever. But Mother's Day, not seen it. So, yeah, my worst is Valentine's Day.
That's a great way to tie it. So we're honoring Mother's Day, and Brian's worst is Valentine's Day. And before we get into next week's topic, a little fact for you gentlemen out there that want to please your lady friends. Listen, most women like romantic comedies. It's just a fact. My girlfriend, she likes a lot of like action movies and a lot of thrillers and stuff, so she's not really too keen on the romantic comedies. However, these ones that we listed on our board, these are great ones to kind of like sit down together and you can both watch. That way you don't feel like it's painful when you have to watch, I don't know, Love Happens starring Jennifer Aniston. So, you know, I'm just looking out for you out there. So just a little fact, a little fun tip. So, yeah. So, Brian, what is next week?
Next week, in honor of Captain America Civil War, we're going to be doing our psychological thrillers. Now, here's the thing. People are like, wait, this is a psychological thriller? Here's the thing. Apparently, according to the Russo brothers, they claim that this is a psychological thriller. Yes, it has political thrillers aspects to it, but I think the psychological thriller is a better genre and more memorable. Nothing against political thrillers. Most of them are fantastic. Most of them are like the Oscar kind of award type of films. But psychological thrillers get to you. And that's why I'm really excited to do this list. I already created my list for psychological thrillers, and I have like 10 honorable mentions. Like, it's insane. So, yeah, next week in honor of Civil War, we're going to be talking about our psychological thrillers.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. You're gonna hear this phrase from me the whole damn episode. It's got like that Lifetime feel, you know? Like if you were just sitting in your room and you watched a murder mystery on Lifetime at 2 p.m. while eating some oatmeal doing a word search. That's what it kind of feels like. You're gonna hear me say that a lot next week. But most psychological thrillers there's a lot of murder mysteries that are in that category. So I'm sure we'll have a lot of them on there. So I'm really excited to talk about that. So with that being said, guys, thank you for listening / watching. If you're watching on YouTube and you want an audio-only version of the podcast, link will be in the description below. If you're listening on Spreaker or iHeartRadio and you want a video version, link will be in the description below. So, yeah, thank you for joining. If you are new and you like this, hopefully you come back next week. And all the people that continue to watch this every week, you guys are fucking awesome. So, Brian, where can the people find you online?
Twitter at BrianSuts98 and on YouTube at Brian Sutfield.
All right, and you can find me on Twitter right here at the bottom at Real Chase Lee. And if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, so you can get all these top 5 episodes we do every single week. We've been doing them for almost a year now. We're almost coming up on our year anniversary. So yeah, keep on watching. We love you guys quite a bit, and I'm gonna play the outro music right now, which is the same as the intro music, which is done by my friends in Dallas. Their band Fervent Roze. They actually have an album dropping next week. Check that shit out. So we'll see you guys next week for another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live. I'm Chase Lee.
I'm Brian Sutfield.
That's fucking right. Romantic comedies. Get yourself a good cry, and then get yourself a good laugh. Have a good day. See you guys later.